Hello, thank you for watching my video again. This video is a sequel to my previous video on my clock for Blender. Since the last video, there have been multiple updates to the clock. I will only be covering two of them in this one. Firstly, before, there was a problem that occurred when the analog clock was being used with seconds as input, which made the subsecond hand snap into increments and caused the second hand to briefly go backwards, both of which were unintended behaviors which are now fixed. The other update is about the endings. If the ending is set to time, frame, or frame plus time, the clock will now clamp to or reset at the reach of the ending. The reset itself has two options. Either the clock will reset to 0 or it will reset back to time at start. So, formatting. The first option in the formatting section is mode, which can either be clock or freeform. Freeform is more suited for things like stopwatches or timers, while clock gives you access to settings like time formats, negation handling 0 to day or half day, and turning on or off AM and PM. I'll get to those later. First, let's talk about minimum number of digits. So say the time is 2 hours, 6 minutes, 9.4 seconds. Now each number is just one digit long. If you want to increase that, you can change the minimum number of digits to something else, like 2. And when it's set to 2, there will be no number with digits less than 2. Now let's say instead of 2 hours, the time was set to 100 hours. As you can see, since this is the minimum number of digits, 100 is going to have 3 digits, not 2. Moving on to visibility. Visibility has two sections itself, time chunks and separators. Time chunks include hours, minutes, seconds, and subseconds. Each one of those you can choose to either hide or show. You can also turn on time conversion. So here, there are 16 minutes, and if I hide the minutes, the seconds will become 969. Because 960 is how many seconds there are in 16 minutes, and 9 is the amount of seconds we had from before. You can also change the visibility of separators, though this section is not complete yet, and I will post another video covering this section once it's complete. Next, we have miscellaneous. Say the time isn't 100, instead it's minus 100. Here you see that a negative sign appears. If you want that sign to be something else, you can change it from here. Now if I change the time back to positive, you'll see that there is a checkbox to show a positive sign, and turning on will of course show a positive sign. You can also change what that sign looks like from here. There's also zero sign. When the clock is showing 0, you can choose to show either a positive or a negative sign. Which sign is being shown can also be determined automatically. Here there is the option to use a separate minimum number of digits for each time chunk. If you turn that on, the time chunks will not share the same minimum number of digits. Instead, each of them will have its own. As you can see, there is a text before and after the clock. You can change that text. Those are called pre-time and post-time texts. Or if you want, you can just leave them blank. There are also these separators, which you can change from the colons and the dots that are there by default to something else. There are also indicators, which are basically texts around each time chunk. Indicators also let you duplicate a time chunk. And to use them, you just have to wrap a T in curly braces and put a text before or after them. Now let me go back to clock here, and you can see that some options have been added. Let me change the time to 13 hours, and you can see that it's set to 1, because 13 is 1 p.m. if the time format is set to half day. If you change it back to full day, it'll show 13. If I change this to 25 though, it'll go back to 1. There's also negation handling. So let's say the time is 2 hours, 8 minutes, 4 seconds, and 0.9 subseconds. Negation handling is obviously what you use when dealing with negative time. So let me change this to negative. And here you can see that there are two options: mirror or cycle. When it's set to mirror, you will just see a negative sign before the time. But if it's set to cycle, what the clock does is that it takes what you have as the time and calculates how much time there's left until 12 o'clock. So after 10 hours, 52 minutes, and 56.10 seconds from this time, it'll be 12 o'clock. Now let's say the time is again 0. When the mode is set to clock, you'll get the option to set 0 to day or half day. So here the time format is set to half day, and if I turn this on, the hour will become 12 instead of 0. And if I change the time format to full day, it'll become 24. Another option which you'll get access to if the mode is clock and the time format is half day is the ability to show or hide AM and PM. So 0 is 12 AM and 12 itself is 12 PM. And 1 is obviously AM and then 13 is PM. And if you want to, you can change the AM and PM texts, so you can change it to capital letters. And lastly, there's the advanced section, which gives you options to set how many subseconds are in a second, how many seconds are in each minute, how many minutes are in each hour, and how many hours are in each day. You can also change the number of hours in half of a day, or you can set it to be calculated automatically. So, thank you for watching this far into the video. I'd love to know what you think about this clock so far, and what features you think it's still missing. I'll post more videos covering the geometry section, and updates, and also bug fixes. Until then, thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.